Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm sharing my screen so that you could see my slides. Welcome, moms. Hi, I'm author Grace Wroldson. Are you co parenting with a narcissist or in a high conflict custody battle? You are not alone. This book club is only available for members, mom members of my private Facebook group. The first part of this will be recorded and available on my YouTube channel as a resource. So remember to like and subscribe if you like free videos. Please put in the chat, rename yourself, then put in the chat that you can hear me. I want to make sure that you can hear me. My work is to help you think in terms of getting safe, being stable, staying sane, through the narcissist insanity. And this is about making sustainable strategies. This used to be a support group after it was a book club, and now we have book clubs again and webinars and guest speakers on my YouTube channel. So look for the event section on my Facebook groups, those private Facebook group for moms, of when we will hold these again. A warm welcome to you. As you come in, please change your name, rename yourself, pick something anonymous mom 123. We do our best on Facebook and social media, me and my admins, my freelancers, to protect your custody case. If you want to change your name here, please do so. Feel free to say hello and what state you're in the Zoom chat. That will not be visible on the YouTube channel recording. I'm your host, Grace Wroldson, a mom survivor, author, and coach. Welcome to Getting Safe, Being Stable, and Staying Sane with Strategies. You can type in the chat so we know who else is joining us, because you are not alone. I always recommend creating an anonymous first name for these Zoom groups to not be identified, maybe talking about what country you're in, but not what state. And please let me know in the chat what book or blog you have read of mine. No purchase is necessary. We will do a short reading from this yellow-orange book. I'll ask for volunteers to read a paragraph or two. You can learn to raise and lower your hand using Zoom. This will only be recorded for the brief introduction of my work, and I'll stop the recording before we open it up for safe 3-minute shares. Again, hi, I am Grace. I wrote this book, and the topic today is focusing on the love we have for our child and not the hate we have for the narcissist, as I like to say. I write and speak in a pen name. I'm located in the US, and if you are ready to learn, I am ready to teach. I say to you, you can learn, heal, and grow through this. Welcome to my private Facebook groups for moms if you're already a member. Or remember to like and subscribe to this channel for my free videos. Hang on and have hope. I write for moms who are forced to co-parent and or stuck in a high conflict custody battle with a narcissist. If this is you, you are not alone. My books can validate what you might be experiencing and give you creative ways to improve your co-parenting conditions. In my books, I include all my tips, tools, and strategies for moms to grab onto like life rafts. Sometimes it's solely about survival and staying afloat. I believe that there are healthy attitudes we can adopt, mindsets to make solid, sanity to hold on to, as well as beneficial perspectives that we can take to help us endure the dilemma and survive a custody battle. We can learn to use what I call skillful means and strategies to navigate and neutralize the narcissist. Find my video program. Put that at the end of this recording on YouTube. Learn all you can from my survivor wisdom, because knowledge is power. Let the chapters of my books be like self-help and story medicine. My goal is to leave you with tidbits of wisdom and lots of encouragement. Know that you can endure this with support. You can be resilient in the face of the many challenges when dealing with a narcissist. The truth is, our love for our child or children is bigger than the narcissist. Believe in yourself as a mom. Remember to learn the valuable lessons in all the pain and problems so you can come out of this stronger, and smarter than before. Like me, you can 1, outgrow the narcissist, 2, become immune to his attacks, and 3, move on with your life to thrive. Better yet, so can our precious children. So use wisdom, lead with love. I always suggest that readers read or listen to my book series in the order written for a full understanding of my transformation and journey. And I encourage you to use my skillful means method and my gray walling techniques as you can apply them in your case. So pick up my first book, which is the orange yellow book, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Self-Rules to Stay Sane. A Survivor Story, Book 2, How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win, Super Smart Strategies for Success. Another Survivor Story. My third is Co-Parenting with a Sociopath, Survival and Sanity Guide, giving you my survivor wisdom. And my fourth here is How to Survive a Custody Battle with a Narcissist when the family courts force you to co-parent. These are available at Amazon. Some are available on Audible. You can check out my website, www.gracewroldson, for more. I have a Get the Right Lawyer guide on my website, and also a lot of free blogs. So come on over to my website. My belief is that we can create the peace that we need for ourselves and our children, that the narcissist can't give us the peace, and that we do have to be the change that we want to see in this situation. So there are tools, there's resources, there's support that we can get. So welcome. These are the blogs you'll find under the blogs. Specifically, go to the Co-Parenting with a Narcissist blog. Some of these are entirely free. Some of them have videos so you can watch rather than have to read them. But welcome to this online group. The groups were essentially an expanded book club. You do not need a copy of this book, as pages will be read aloud. And we do encourage you to, use the book, get the book, meditate on one of the 7 self-rules. And I make them self-rules because if you're trying to set boundaries with a boundary crossing person, you might have to set internal boundaries for yourself and not get constantly disappointed, derailed, or emotionally destabilized by someone crossing your boundaries, like the narcissistic ex and the narcissist as your co-parent. This Zoom support group's only open to the mom members of my private Facebook group. So each time we meet, we'll be reading a chapter, then allowing for time to share on a topic. Please mute your phone or mic so the meeting stays clear. Please mute the microphone on Zoom. If there's any disruption, please let us know. We'll take care of it on our end in the direct message on the chat. If there are any other technical difficulties, please go to the support group for posts, as we aim to keep this a safe and secure group and stay connected with each other. We have a protected share time policy, which is similar to a no crosstalk guideline that you would find in 12-step groups. We kindly ask that you please do not engage in the chat feature to other members or comment on what they say. Please also don't interrupt when another person is sharing or begin a conversation privately or in discussion. During the share time, we ask you stay on topic, as we have a lot of people sometimes on these calls or Zooms. We'll have a timekeeper to gently remind us. The meeting will run for about an hour and a half, and it will consist of reading, listening, and sharing. And please note that if you don't get a chance to share within the hour, you'll have the opportunity to stay for additional 30 minutes after the meeting for additional share time. And remember, the share time is not recorded. You might want to book a private coaching call, which is at a cost and confidential. The after meeting can run up to 30 minutes, but you're welcome to leave after we close this meeting. And please join us again in our next one. Look for the events tab in the events section on Facebook. So much support, validation, encouragement, and relief can come from meeting with other moms going through the same pain, problems, and dilemma. In this group, we will have the opportunity to share our experiences, our strengths, our success, and our hope as we navigate and face the problems of a toxic, complex co-parenting relationship with a narcissist or being in a custody battle with a narcissist. We encourage you to use the private Facebook group by posting anonymous only, in addition to using other healing support such as counseling with a licensed mental health professional, DV, confidential counseling from a domestic violence agency, and 12-step programs such as Al-Anon for friends and family of alcoholics, or CODA for recovering codependents, all found on their websites, telephone, and Zoom meetings. Some are in person. Information about these groups can all be found online. While this group is not able to offer legal advice or crisis work, we found much wisdom, strength, and hope through meetings and groups run by local domestic violence agencies. You can look for those. This meeting is meant to be a lesson-by-lesson exploration into me, the author's personal story of survival and maintaining sanity in the midst of this entire crazy-making experience. I do describe some awful experiences co-parenting with a narcissist and a sociopath in my books, but I label the lessons that I learned, and that's what I give you, my tips, tools, and survivor strategies. I reflect on the inept, incompetent, broken family court system that can sometimes be corrupt. And just remember, you too are in a learning process, and through story medicine, what I call sharing, we can find solutions based in sanity and wisdom in everybody's share. So take what you like and leave the rest. If you don't resonate with something, you can leave that for a different time or just put that down. Note, we cannot give legal advice. Most chapters of my books are grounded in common sense and logic. I'm not a licensed psychologist, nor do I offer clinically studied proven methods for help and healing from narcissistic abuse. But I know that we do recover together. As an author, I share my personal story and powerful insights based on over a decade of my own lived experience in the U.S. family court system. It was sometimes good and sometimes bad. Things that fell apart had to be put back together. Also, this is not a crisis support group. Crisis and domestic violence agencies may be needed in your case. If so, professionals are better able to handle those issues, whereas this book club, support group, online Facebook group can help with validation, emotional support, and not feeling so alone. Learning and identifying the tools for serenity is key. Each member is responsible for getting the individual help they need. We are not liable for any injury or harm to members of this voluntary group, and members must seek out appropriate licensed professionals for any help they need. We encourage you to seek out as many resources as needed for your unique situation. However, we can't prescribe, suggest, or recommend or refer members to specific agencies. If you're needing legal representation, it's always good to get 2 to 3 consultations because each will cost different amounts and each lawyer will have a different strategy. You will have to do what is right for your children and financial circumstances. Pick up my Get the Right Lawyer guide, which you can find on my website. So I have some group guidelines that talk about making this a safe space, and I'll read those later, but I want to go down to some of the blogs. You can just read the titles if you come to my blog. Just read the titles. Some of these have guides and PDFs. So I want to read the section of my book, I think it's chapter 4, where I purposely focus on the love I have for my child. It's self-rule number 4, keep the focus on love. There was no question that I loved my child. As a mother, I wanted to protect her innocence, youth, and childhood from the narcissist. Mostly, I wanted to keep her safe. I was willing to do whatever it took. I was the mama bear. When she was really little, she had some special needs, developmental delays, so I worked overtime to get her the services and help that the specialist recommended. I went above and beyond for her out of love. I even quit my job to be able to stay home with her because she struggled at daycare. It was so much work to raise her, but it was a labor of love. My actions proved that I clearly loved her. But did I love myself? I recall the moment that I learned her father was a narcissist. It was about 3 years into the family court drama when my easygoing attorney made a passing comment about my ex. As we were sitting in the hallway after yet another round in court, I expressed my frustration that I couldn't understand why my ex was so unreasonable and wanted it all. My attorney, who had a background in psychology and a dual degree in law and psychology, then told me very casually my ex was a narcissist. From that statement forward, I researched narcissism to learn the meaning of the mess I was in and how to cope. From that point on, I knew what I was up against, and this became an intellectual advantage. With all the focus on my child and the narcissist, I never looked at myself. At one point in parenting, I started to question if I loved myself because I was being blamed for everything and not being treated well by anyone, yet I was still standing there, getting battered and bruised, taking it all. My ex's unhappiness and my daughter's high maintenance needs all fell on my shoulders. I was sleep deprived, dealing with our child's inability to sleep on her own, catering to all her special needs just to get dressed or ride in a car, swerving his inability to cooperate, and dodging his thirst for vengeance, all while actively witnessing him use the family court system to reclaim his broken self-esteem. I took the brunt of both of their issues and inabilities. I felt like I was getting hit from both sides, and while I did my best to shield myself, I had no support system to help me. Unfortunately, my parents were uneducated, ill-equipped, mentally unarmed, and lacked the resources to help. Basically, they didn't want to step into the mess with me and get it on their shoes. I was at a point of hating the narcissist and hating my life. To water my dry and weary soul, a generous friend gifted me a weekend at a women's spiritual retreat, and the retreat leader opened with a powerful question that I will never forget and still use to this day. She asked us to do a journaling exercise to begin our weekend and set the theme. She offered the prompt, if I were a woman who loved myself, I would ... and asked us retreatants to fill in the blank. The question was so direct, and I am sad to say that I didn't have any answers off the top of my head. I stared at a blank page for an entire day of the retreat. I savored the question and longed to be a woman who could answer it easily. I had become so consumed by loving my child and dealing with a hateful, bitter, resentful, narcissistic ex that I didn't know what I needed or wanted. I didn't practice self-love. It never occurred to me to be self-loving as I went through the horror of raising a child with special needs while a narcissist was fighting a legal battle trying to steal sole custody, and this was kind of rigged in his favor because he had money. I closed my eyes and tried to remember what it was like before the narcissistic relationship. What did I used to love to do? It was all so long ago that I had completely forgotten. It took me a while to list some things. I felt guilty even writing them down, never mind secretly wishing for them, even if this was a self-worth exercise. It pained me to write them down because they all cost money, and I used all my money on my child in legal fees, fighting a never-ending court battle. When I read the list, it seemed like a far-fetched fantasy, and I didn't have time to even entertain it in my mind. The items I listed were like wishful thoughts, so delicate and temporary, like a floating soap bubble that would pop and leave me with the reality of my beaten down life that would quickly splatter in my face and sting my eyes. I had very little time to practice self-love while trying to love my daughter and hate the narc. The weekend was wonderful, though, and moving. It was full of music and meaningful lyrics. The songs were all sing-along style like mantras, and it was very healing to participate in those songs of affirmation. Very much like a salve for my soul. I still play them when I need a lift. I found some self-love in my heart that weekend and wept tears of joy in the front row just to feel loved, whole, safe, supported, alive as a woman and as a mother. Attending the retreat was an esteemable act, and I was so glad that I fought off the guilt of asking for an overnight babysitter to be able to go. The weekend renewed my spirits and helped me turn my focus back onto myself. I finally had the opportunity to experience what it was like to be me again, full of hope, dancing to music, talking to other women about what really matters, hearing inspirational stories of overcoming adversity, singing joyfully, and experiencing something new. Being a single low-income mother for all those years, battling to keep my child safe from the narcissist's abuse was exhausting, demoralizing, and all-consuming, and yet still a necessity. I needed the break. I needed a soul vacation to come back to myself. A journal entry. The loving of myself is the ultimate win. I think it was the music and the magic of the weekend that really touched the core part of me. I realized that when something got in that deep, I carried it in my heart forever. Even though I was on a tight budget, I realized the enormous value of affirmation songs and purchased some CDs to take home with me to remind me of just what state I want to be in. I discovered that music held the ability to help me instantly shift out of the despair of it all. It helped me remember my innocence, the time before the narcissist when I loved people freely and never experienced the kind of selfishness and cruelty that I now endured for years on the back end of cruel narcissistic love. The weekend opened me up to sharing all my thoughts and feelings with my close friends that I felt safe with. I confessed to a friend that if I really put myself first, I would live out my dream of moving to Hawaii and live out a good life, leaving it all behind. But I also confessed something else that was hard to settle inside myself. As I reflected on my life, the one thing that I could see that I did wrong in my life was not live more selfishly myself. Looking back in review of my life, I lived to give to others, never myself. It was freeing to admit that I lived my life too much for others. And given a choice, I would have lived more for myself if I could do it over. I carried my regrets in and out of court. Working for versus working against. There came a time when I realized I was so focused on hating the narcissist and what he had done that there wasn't much room for any love in my brain or life. I had allowed the narcissist to zap the beauty and joy right out of my life. I wanted to raise my child, or should I say our child, in love. I would need to maintain a loving home, environment, behavior, thoughts, attitude. I knew that I was the only one capable of this, and it would take work. I was finally willing to accept this new job of self-love. It meant learning to work for myself instead of against the narcissist. It was a big shift. I had plenty of on-the-job training, OJT, and learning how to love myself again. Self-love became my new solution. A journal entry. I win when I love me. Training versus trying. So there I was in my 40s trying to protect my daughter and wanting to love myself at the same time. I was attempting this difficult task with all my fears attached to me like a heavy sack of stones weighing me down. I didn't realize that I could swap out the word trying and substitute in the word training to make a huge emotional difference. A seasoned therapist threw out the suggestion to me, and at the time it felt like a life raft thrown at me while I was drowning in my sorrow and self-pity. He mentioned the option to give up trying and go and type in the word training and be in training mode. Trying certainly felt heavy, and all my attempts felt useless with a disordered personality like a narcissist. Felt like I was being swallowed up in a big sea swimming against the strong oppositional ocean current of a narcissist and losing all my energy by aimlessly paddling and kicking. I was trying to co-parent with a narcissist. I was trying to communicate with a narcissist. I was trying to get some cooperation from a narcissist. Sure, I was trying, but my attempts were completely unsuccessful back then. Actually, all my efforts were later used against me in trial. That small comment from the therapist made a huge turning point for me. I made the shift in my perspective, and it lined up me for more growth and the attainment of new skills. From that point forward, I decided that I was in training to be able to communicate with a narcissist in co-parenting because I was trying to get somewhere. I began training to confront him on things that concern me. I began training to handle his allegations and deflections. I began training to stick to the topic. I was in training to be more businesslike with him and eliminate personal elements. I learned to throw the ball back into his court, so to speak, by asking him why he can't stick to the topic of raising our daughter. Also, I began training for another round of family court because it was inevitable in my case. When I considered it just practice and training and the art of co-parenting with a toxic person, it felt more doable. I learned to write as if a court liaison were reading my messages to the narcissist and considered how they would be viewed. I wrote for myself and for them and the judge. I was able to say things more clearly and get more skilled, even though I wasn't able to get cooperation that I wanted at the time from the narcissist. I was able to message him about how he was being uncooperative and be upfront about some situations that had happened. I stopped waiting for cooperation from the narcissist. And I was getting better at communication. And to my astonishment, he was the one who usually could do the rant and twist the conversation. He grew silent, and I had found my voice. So that was a short reading from my book, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Self-Rules to Stay Sane. If that reading resonated with you, you can pick up that book on Amazon or listen to some more on Audible. Here's the back cover. Are you trying to co-parent with a narcissist? Are you in a high conflict custody battle? Is it one problem after another? Journey with me through my hard lessons learned as I face the aftermath of a decade-long custody battle against my narcissistic ex. Witness how I cut through the confusion by reading my own truth-filled journal entries so that I could see how to gain clarity for myself. If you're in this predicament, you will need tools and support for this very difficult situation. It's key to watch out for any emotional thinking that hijacks us into a constant state of anxiety-ridden reaction. With wisdom, it's important to adopt a logical, long-term plan. That's the type of approach. Find out how to get an upper advantage and become aware of the dynamics. I was caught in the middle of a dilemma of being required by the family court to co-parent with someone who wasn't willing to cooperate. This created endless conflict, ongoing problems, and total chaos. However, even while being disadvantaged financially, I braved the front lines of family court and the war for my child. I defeated the narcissist in subtle ways, and even though the odds were against me, due to the narcissist enabling family and his narcissistic cutthroat attorney, I learned how to use self-rules and strategies to turn my custody case around. In this book, you will learn my 7 self-rules to stay sane, gain valuable insights, be able to relate and get some validation, get a bigger perspective on the problem, adopt some healthy mindsets or shift and change your attitude, create strategies to cope, heal, and overcome. Be directed to focus on what matters. Be encouraged to keep being the best parent and mom that you could be. You can read my bonus tip for inspiration and hope. This book will give you a deeper insight into the problems of co-parenting with a narcissist and offer some key solutions. If you feel hopeless, helpless, and alone, the book can be a comfort to you. Let this book validate your concerns for your child's safety and the lack of professionals who understand. If you have faced family court corruption, family court failures, or problems with unethical lawyers, biased professionals like GALs, and poor custody case rulings, you'll find out that you are not alone. Read how my survivor story can help you, and how me, as a mom on my mission to save my child, how I overcame the losses. You can be inspired by the courage that I gained through connection, and you can even strategize your own comeback. So thank you so much for listening to this reading from my first book, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Self-Rules to Stay Sane. We will be shutting off the recording now, so stay tuned for more. So thank you all who came to this Zoom book club. I encourage you to read the other 6 strategies and the bonus strategy. Knowledge is power. Learn all that you can. I always say, adopt the healing program. Get into some healing programs. You can be the best mom that you can be. Our healing directly and indirectly affects our child or our children. I love this quote from a movie that I saw recently. Everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. It was from the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. If you know who the original person to make that quote is, please type it down in the comments. This book is the follow-up book to the yellow book, How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win, because at some point you might have to fight, even if you're not a fighter. It might be required of you in your situation. And I have some strategies for you. It's available on Amazon. And strategies are the solution. And you'll need many strategies: a parenting strategy, a co-parenting strategy, an emotional strategy, a legal strategy, and more. So I encourage you to pick up that book. If you go to my blog, you'll find my skillful means teachings about key phrases that can neutralize the narcissist. So we want to think in terms of not defeating or hurting or destroying somebody that won't give us the peace that we crave, but we can think about neutralizing, de-escalating, disarming. If you want these, what I call skillful means, pick up some of these blogs on my website. Communication is key. What we say can get them to react and be triggered, and less triggering of a narcissist, the better, in my case. I mean, sometimes your lawyer will tell you to, get the email, to get the family wizard message to use as evidence in a trial. So always follow your lawyer's advice. But these are some just personal strategies and solutions that I had and held for myself. I have 5 factors that can make a narcissist stop. If you are the narcissist target of blame, or in his mind, the enemy to destroy, that can be shifted and changed. I don't know if it can be shifted and changed in all cases. I do have read a lot of books on why this becomes a problem for us if the narcissist views us as the enemy to destroy. And if we are oppositional and we go up against the narcissist toe to toe, it can cause the power struggle and the power dynamic. So pick up that PDF. I also have legal strategies that I used in family court. These are located in my 4th book, How to Survive a Custody Battle, but you can pick up just that PDF. I have a 11 video Navigate the Narcissist co-parenting course with just the basics, because the narcissist has tricks, tactics, traps, and manipulations to emotionally destabilize us, and we need strategy, skills, self-rules, support, and all kinds of different angles and tools to use to navigate, neutralize, disarm, de-escalate conflict. So if you are ready to learn, I am ready to teach. Get solutions for your sanity. You can learn, heal, and grow, and come out smarter and stronger than before. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.